Hello, welcome to another edition of Time with Devon. My name is Owusu Echan Konedu, your host. All right, so we've already exhausted a couple of things on what the core mandates are when it comes to Devon, their track record, among other things. Today, we are having the same person, resource person, to exhaust a lot on Devon. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, Mr. Echan. Yeah, welcome.
All right, so we've already exhausted a couple of things on the core mandate of Devon, your track record, among other things. All right, can you help us understand when we say DBS? What do you mean by DBS?
Okay, those of them who move to the UK to work in any setting, professional setting, any care setting, even now with cleaning jobs, you need your DBS. When we say DBS, DBS means the disclosure barring services. It's similar to what we have in Ghana called the police criminal certificate. So before we entrust the care of a patient, a service user, or any other person to your care, we need to check your background, that you've not committed any crime or you have not been barred by the disclosure and barring services. Also, so that's what we call the DBS. So it's similar to what we do in Ghana, whereby you need, before you are employed to work in any corporate space, you need the DBS, the police criminal certificate. So it's similar, the same thing, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So when somebody relocates to UK as health and care person, what should a person expect? A new person relocate to UK?
Okay, so there's shortage of care workers in the United Kingdom. I think there's still a lot of people who are needed to come and work, but because of the politics about immigration, when the Conservatives came to power, the promise that they made to the British people that the immigration numbers are high, in sync with the number of people that are needed to come and support the health and care sector. The government introduced the skilled worker visas and the shortage occupational list during the pandemic. So the common name that a lot of Ghanaians are aware is the COS, the Certificate of Sponsorship, and co. So just to elaborate on what to expect, what I would say is that to come to the UK to work as a carer, they are very important part of the ecosystem of the care industry, and you come depending on the type of care that you have been employed to do, which is the domiciliary care, whereby you visit people's homes. We have the care homes. So people also work in care homes where the elderly, mentally challenged people, people with serious neurological problems. They have been put into a building where carers go there to look after them and make sure that they have quality of life, etc. So that is basically the two important care in the UK. Apart from that, there are also people who work as healthcare assistants with the NHS and the government sector. Yeah.
All right. That brings me to a follow-up question. 11th March was announced that the UK government had cancelled the dependent application. Can you speak to that?
Okay, so the government made an evaluation. So in the UK, we have the Migration Advisory Committee, which is the non-affiliated, unbiased institution where they advise the government on any immigration changes. So the Migration Advice Committee were the body that advised the government that we have shortage in the healthcare industry and we need people, because a lot of the British people didn't want to do the job. People don't want it to be double vaccinated because of the pandemic during the COVID period. So a lot of our people, I mean, in Africa, in Asia, in all other parts of the world, took advantage of this massive opportunity and moved themselves and their family to work in the UK as the main applicant and the common name, the dependent. But after the statistics from the government, they realized that about 25% of those who migrated to the UK during the peak period of the health and care visas as dependents didn't stay in the UK to work. So they issued over 750 to 800,000 visas. 750 to 800,000 visas for main applicants and dependents. And imagine that only 25% stayed in the UK. So there was abuse in the system. And then also because of political expediency and what is going on in the UK, the government thought, okay, all right, if people are coming, they are supposed to work in the system and pay their taxes, but they are not ready to stay and go back, leave the main applicants to stay. Because the idea of a dependent is that since you are coming to work in the UK, we give you an opportunity to bring your family to live with you, to support yourselves. But I mean, there were rumors around investigations from the CQC, complaints here and there. So the government realized that there was abuse in the system, and that was the reason why they implemented the March 11th immigration statement of changes to curtail dependents from moving with their main applicants to live in the UK. That notwithstanding, it is only health and care visas, carers route, which was previously the 6145 code, that you can't bring your dependent. Yeah, but there are other skilled worker visas that you can add your dependent to.
Oh, okay. All right. I understand people switch to other companies apart from their mother company. What informs that?
Okay, so Mr. Cho, I'll explain the whole thing to you so that listeners will also understand the concept of switch, which is very popular in the UK now. So the skilled worker visas are sponsorship visas. What it means is that, for instance, you are a banker in Ghana. Just an example, you've got a job in the UK. Barclays has sponsored you to come to the UK to work for them. And then you move to the UK under the auspices or under the sponsorship of Barclays. You move there, and then you decided, okay, I'm working with Barclays. Or, it's an example, I'm working with Barclays. Okay, I'm not liking the job. The job is very involving. You need huge commitment, and then maybe you don't like the job anymore. You are a human being. Human being is transient. We keep on changing, making different decisions on making changes. So you say, okay, I don't want the job anymore. You are still within your remit per the immigration rules surrounding the skilled worker visas to apply for another job and move on to the sponsorship if you are able to secure the job. For instance, okay, I'm not working, you resign from Barclays Bank and then you get a new job with maybe Halifax, which is a bank in the UK, NatWest, which is a bank in the UK. Then you move from Barclays and then you switch to the sponsorship of NatWest or Halifax. So, like, I will now come to the care sector. It's very common in the care sector. People are sponsored by companies. They go there and they realize that, okay, this is not what they were promised, or this is not what it's in their contract. There's huge pressure on them. Maybe they are not being able to relate the work with their family activities, etc. So they will then have the option to apply for another job. And then after getting the job, they move to the sponsorship, another sponsorship. So they will be under the cover of the new company. So that is what switch means, yeah.
There is this pressing question I want to pose you. So, for example, somebody is relocated UK, new person. How does the person find his way around?
Yeah. Yes. I will tell you a story. I remember when I moved to the UK so many years ago, and then I was attending a classmate's christening. And then I got to the place, and I'm new. I mean, it's not easy moving to a different country, different culture, different way of life, and everything is different in the UK compared to Ghana. I mean, if you live most of your life in Ghana and you relocate, you could see that there's a whole lot of difference in it. So I was on the phone with my cousin, and then he told me that Kofi, in the UK, if you ask, you will never get missed. Oh yeah, if you ask. So I met these old ladies on the road, and then I pushed them and I asked them, I'm going to this particular church. Would they be able to show me? Because I was very polite, and they were also polite. Generally, it's something that is very, very
Identify with them.
With English people. Yeah, though they seriously took their time. Old people, I'm talking about people that, if I'm not getting it wrong, they will be around 75 to 80 years.
Wow.
They took their time to show me, and then pass this place, get this place. Also in the UK, we have a lot of systems in place. Those who are in London, we have the Transport for London, the journey planner, whereby you key in your postcode, you put it where you are going. It will auto-populate and show you where to pass and where not to pass. The train you have to pick, the buses that you have to pick. I mean, we have train times. Train times also from one city to another city. When you put in the information there, it will auto-populate and also show you which train to take to, maybe from Manchester to Milton Keynes, or from Houston to Liverpool, or from anywhere. And then we also have the National Express, which is at the buses. Also, that one too, if you put the National Express website and then you put the information there, it will also give you the specific bus that you have to. In the UK, you don't get lost. It is something that we always say. It's not easy, though they have similar houses, but in terms of you getting missing, it's not very common there. Yeah.
Very interesting. Your story brings me to another interesting follow-up question. So, for example, I'm relocated to UK and I cannot speak the language, the English language. How do I ask somebody passing by?
I mean, North Devon deals with people who have to speak English before they relocate. So, in terms of someone who is moving to the UK as a skilled worker visa or as a student, as part of your visa application, you need the English language requirement. So you need basic English language requirements. So it's something that is very rare that someone who moves to the UK can't speak English. Yeah, it's most especially with Ghanaians, English-speaking countries, Ghanaians, Nigerians, Gambians, and those kind of. I mean, it's something that you not struggle. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for speaking to that. Well, it was very, very important. All right. So, new person in UK, how do I open an account? Well, of course, I'll be working and my money has to pass through an account. How do I open an account?
Okay. So I will first say that in terms of those who move to the UK under the shortage occupational list, or the now they call it the immigration salary list, or those who move to the UK under the skilled worker visas, those people, the government had an agreement with the banks that if they are able to prove through their biometric residence permit that they had NFNK visas, they don't need all those documents before an account is open. So they just have to give an address, and they take their BRP to the bank, and then they would do the immigration check to know that you move as a skilled worker visas, and then the accounts will be open to you there. So you don't need those proof of address, I mean, those kind of stuff before you can open an account. If you move to the UK as a skilled worker visa, you don't. The only thing you need is to give them an address so that any correspondence between yourself and the bank those letters will be sent, or if you want it through the email to, you can do it. But you need a proof of address. I mean, you need an address, not a proof of address. There's a difference between a proof of address and an address.
Exactly.
So a proof of address is that you need documents to show that this is where you are living. And it's those people who have lived in the UK for some time, more than 3 months or 4 or 6 months, that can give you those kind of documents. But if I arrive in the UK today under skilled worker visas, the next day I can go to, I can open an account. We have a lot of online banks like Monzo, like Sterling, like Chase, that will open an account with that, giving proof of address or other document.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So how does one get secured accommodation? So, for example, does North Devon help secure accommodation for your clients, or they get stranded when they go?
I mean, in terms of our operations, as I said, that's what we have been doing. We support people, not only in the UK, in US, in Canada, those who really want to relocate under work permit. I mean, as I said earlier, we are in a global village, and then you don't need North Devon to physically be present before we can get to an accommodation. But we give you websites and app to register there. Like we have spare rooms in the UK. We have open rent in the UK. We have Gumtree in the UK, where you go there, you register, and then you tell them your background and why you moved. There are some landlords who will visibly give you rooms to rent there. Yeah.
All right. I think you've touched and exhausted on the salient part that one will want to know, especially one want to relocate to UK. I don't know. Do you have anything else to say before we exit this section and segment?
Yeah. I think there's a whole lot of conversation going on about the dependent visas, vis-a-vis dependents has been removed from them skilled worker visas. I just want to tell our listeners and everyone who is hearing this podcast that it is only under carers route, only under carers route, a carer, FK assistant, and the senior carers route. But if you are moving to the UK as a nursing auxiliary, if you are moving to the UK as an IT worker, if you are as a banker and you meet the income requirement, you can add your dependent and move to them. And even nurses, I mean, nurses under NHS have special codes that it covers their dependents and etc. So it's not like the panic out there. As I said, there's a lot of vacancies there in the UK. They need people to come and work and pay taxes to support the economy. So it's not something that is an uphill task as people envisage out there.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ketia. We're really grateful for coming over to exhaust once again on what the core mandates are, and also when somebody relocates to UK, some of the things that the person should know. We're grateful. And to you out there, why don't you visit the offices of North Devon? You can get everything we want to know. Visit us at any point in time. Our numbers will be streaming. So once again, we'll meet and exhaust on the rest. Come over, come to North Devon, come look for whatever you want, and your needs shall be provided. Thank you very much. Meet you next time on Time with North Devon.